Today we're actually doing a species highlight on this adorable little species of sand gecko that I picked up this past show. But I did want to take just a brief second to introduce the video and to talk about why it is important to know what you're buying at the show. So I saw these guys. They're probably about 2 inches from the tip of their nose to the tip of their tail. So they're tiny little geckos, and I saw them on a table with the seller was selling jumping spiders, and she had just these three little babies, and they were labeled dwarf sand geckos. And I thought I was getting dune geckos, which are this species, but instead I brought these guys home and I was researching them to make sure that I knew exactly what I was doing. And I got this species. So there's a difference. And it is the problem with common names. So dune geckos are commonly called dwarf sand geckos or sand geckos. They actually have like 5 or 6 different common names um, that are frequently used. And then these guys are also called, yeah, the dwarf geckos. I am really, really terrible with scientific names, and they like do not stick in my brain at all. I have to look it up and make sure I'm spelling all my names right when I'm shipping out packages because you got to label them with the scientific name. And um, yeah, so these guys I did set up in a 5.5 gallon. They're really little at this time, and I don't know if I'll keep them in the 5.5 gallon. It's going to depend on how they use it as they grow. And I don't know if we have males and females. We'll find out as they grow. There are 3 of them, and I am hoping that there's at least one girl and one boy in this group. They can be housed together, which makes them super exciting. I really love community reptiles. I am going to do a post on how to make sure that you're doing your community reptiles correctly because it is important that you are paying attention to making sure everybody's getting food and other resources that they need and that nobody's fighting or being picked on. So there are things that you need to be watching out whenever you do community reptiles, even those that are highly recommended to keep in groups. You want to make sure are doing well together. Um, and I created a multi-layer um, kind of fortress for these guys with like little caves and all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to show you that today in this video. And then I will be doing the same thing for my Bonobos geckos. So I will actually going to do a tutorial step by step on how to build this out. Each of these levels is set up so that you can lift it up and clean it, and then also check for geckos and eggs, and then put it all back together. So it turned out really cool, and I'm really pleased. I've also been really pleased to watch these guys. They've been in their enclosure for a week now, and they like fruit flies better than they like the bean beetles, but they've been eating and drinking, and they are visible. At least 1 or 2 of them are visible almost all the time, so that's been pretty nice. Sometimes you get an animal and you put it in a beautiful home and then you never see it again. These guys are using the little caves, and some of them are digging in the sand. So it's been a lot of fun to watch them. Hello everyone, it's Danielle with Danielle's Critters. And today I just wanted to highlight this cool little build that I did. So this is actually a 5.5 gallon enclosure. And under most circumstances, it is not really fit for any creatures. However, we obtained a dwarf creature up there on the water fish. These dwarf geckos are terrestrial, and I built out this multi-layer cave system so that they can have a huge space for them, huge for them, not obviously the 5.5 gallons isn't huge in general, but so they have sand that they can dig in and several little caves that are on the bottom floor. And then they have a second level with another cave. This one's cool. I carved out the back of this to create like an overhang area too, just to give them more additional places to be. And they're not really going to climb, but they do the flat ground. So they'll be able to use all of these different levels. Um, and this species is not parthenogenic. A lot of our other dwarf species are, but there are males and females. We don't know yet whether or not we got males and females, but these guys can live together. Uh, Whenever you cohab any animals, you want to make sure that you're watching for aggression and making sure everybody's getting plenty of resources. But hopefully, we have at least one boy and one girl in this group. We got 3 of these adorable little geckos. Currently, they're about an inch, and I'm going to put their scientific name up here. I actually bought them thinking they were dune geckos, but they're definitely not dune geckos. And they don't even realize how big their enclosure is yet. Oh, there's the third one. The third one was down on the bottom earlier. So I carved out these little holes in here, and there's actually another cave that's drying still that will go on this very top row, and then it goes over one of these like holes to give them these cool divots. Um, just trying to increase the space and the enrichment that they can have. So these guys hopefully will thrive in this enclosure. And if they get too much bigger, then they're supposed to double in size. So I think that this enclosure will still work well for them, but we will definitely be keeping an eye on the size and upgrade them to a 10-gallon if need be. And then they're going to lay their eggs down here in the sand when they get full grown. And these ones are actually, you're supposed to pull the eggs out and then incubate them separately. So that should be interesting. Now, all of these pieces are set up so that you just pull one layer off at a time. And that made it so that we would always be able to find them and always be able to dig out their eggs as necessary. And hopefully they'll like it. I will try and update I have about a week before this will be posted on YouTube. So as they move around, they were just put in here, so they haven't gotten all over the place yet. And we'll find out how much they hide and how much they're accessible. Some of our other dwarf geckos hide so much that they're not as amazing as I wanted them to be, because I wanted them to be cool display pets. But if you go there and you just find a box of dirt. So I will actually be building out something like this for the Bonose geckos. That's the one that I was just talking about hiding so much. And I'm going to do the multi-layer like this so that they can use their enclosure more. They're in a 10-gallon, but they really only use the bottom portion of it. And then I will do a step-by-step tutorial for that one so that you guys can see exactly how I did all of this. And this one was done in a rush and kind of experimentally. Like I had never done anything quite like this. This is all built out of insulation foam, and then that is all sealed with dry lock that has been tinted to be this kind of sandy color. And then I did add sand to the top of it to make sure it was a little bit grippy. And there's both loose sand, so you see a little pile of loose sand there, and there's sand that I added when the dry lock was wet to give it some more texture. And then there are obviously imperfections, like that shelf little leg doesn't actually touch. I built this backwards from my plan, and then I had to cut that leg in order to make it work. And then it doesn't actually need that leg to support at least the weight of these geckos because they're so tiny. Anyway, I would love it if you took a moment to like this video if you liked it, and leave a comment below. You can tell me what you think of our new adorable geckos. And I will put the name of the scientific name of the species and the common name up for you guys. And if you have any questions, let me know. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching. And there you have it, our brief introduction of the Steudner's dwarf gecko, or the dwarf sand gecko. Oh, that one's not out anymore. I will be doing a care guide on these guys in the near future, and I'll update you guys, particularly on Instagram as these guys get bigger and hopefully lay eggs in the future. Um, we've got lots of cool content coming up, and I would love it if you took a moment to subscribe and like this video. Leave any comments or questions below. And right after this, there's a cool egg counter that shows our progress with all our different critters and their eggs, and also a cool video um, of more animal critter content. Oh, look, there's a little guy's tail hanging out of the little cave. These guys have been so much fun to watch over the last week and a half or so, and I'm definitely glad we got them, even though they were not the dwarf sand geckos I thought we were getting. They've been pretty awesome. I hope you have a great day.